Hello guys, and welcome back, or welcome here if you are new. My name is Amy. Basically, when I sat down and when I was thinking about I wanted to give you guys some recommendations for fall, I thought, you know what, I don't know if I can do this all in one video because, there can be different themes within fall, okay? So you may be wanting to read a cozy romance or maybe a cozy mystery maybe in October. What I'm going to do is, for right now, I'm going to just give recommendations for fall related romances or romances that are perfect to read in the fall, and then I may circle back and do one with the mysteries. So we'll just see how that plays out, but yes, for now I definitely wanted to give you guys some recommendations for romance, and so this is going to be so much fun. I can't wait. And I want you to know that every book I'm going to show you here I have rated 5 stars, and I had to recommend them for this fall. Right out of the gate, we have my favorite book for fall, Denise Hunter, Autumn Skies. Now, okay, we have the word autumn in the title, so that right there is like bonus points. We've got a gorgeous cover, we've got fall foliage. I mean, this book is it's just gorgeous. But the story inside is even better. Now, this is not the first time I've mentioned this book. I've mentioned it several times, and that's because I truly believe it's worth mentioning. If you love to read romance, I'm telling you, you don't want to miss this fall. It's so good. I was so surprised about the story. I don't know, I guess looking at the cover, I was thinking, I don't know, one thing, but when I'm reading it, it is like so different from what I thought. And I don't know how in depth I'm going to go in these recommendations because I've got 5 books and that can make for a really long video. But I'm just telling you, you've got hiking in the mountains, you've got a situation where there's 2 people that are going to be stranded on the mountain together, and something happens while they're there, and then they're trying to get back home, and it's just like a whole thing. And yeah, it's just so good, you guys. If you want a good fall romance, I'm telling you, you're gonna want to read this book. I would not steer you wrong, I promise. All right, so next on the list is going to be Stay With Me by Becky Wade. Now, I know this book was going around for a little bit on BookTube, but I'm going to resurface it because if you haven't read this book and it's on your TBR, go ahead and read it in the fall time. I'm telling you, you won't be disappointed. So a couple reasons why I think this is a good time to read it in the fall is, well, number one, the book starts out in summer, but it's eventually going to get to fall. And so there is a couple of scenes, some good scenes that happen at a fall festival or leading up to a fall festival to that time of year. And so it's just the perfect time to read this is in the fall because you're going to get that atmosphere as you're reading it. So Sam and Genevieve are the 2 main characters. So Sam is Australian and he has his own restaurant and he does farm to table. So very healthy. He grows his own food and all of that. And he lives on a farm, like on a farmhouse. He has all this acreage up in the mountains. And so this book, just the atmosphere of it, it's just, I love it. So this is the perfect time to read it in the fall. So a little background on Genevieve is she is a Bible study author who has an addiction. And so yes, this book is so good. But basically the whole series follows 5 people that were involved in a catastrophic event when they were in middle school. And so now it's circled back years later and you're going to get an update on them. But, oh, this series, you guys, is so good. This is book 1. Highly, highly recommend. All right, next for fall, I'm going to recommend 5 Days in Sky. So this is a book that I've read pretty recently, and you guys, it is so good. Now, I'm telling you, this is a hardcore romance book. It's a clean romance. It is Christian fiction, but it's definitely like swoony for sure. So if you love a really true romance, you are gonna love this book. The book takes place in Scotland. So I don't know, when I think of Scotland, when I watch videos in Scotland, just the architecture and everything, there's some things that look kind of gothic and just kind of reminds me of like fall time. Now I don't remember if they actually say like the specific months or whatever. There is just several scenes where they need jackets and, you know, she's needing to be warm and all of this, and they go shopping and he ends up buying her a scarf, and it's like a plaid tartan scarf. And plaid in fall is just, it's everything. Like, I just love plaid, especially in the fall. And so you just have little moments of little cozy moments with sweaters and scarves and everything. And like I said, just being in the village and just being in Scotland with some of the architecture, I don't know, it's just cozy and gives you fall vibes. So basically the two main characters in this book are James, aka Jamie, and he is a chef as well. Well, that's funny because Sam is a chef, but Jamie is like a famous TV chef, basically. And then you have Andrea, okay? She's the female lead in the story. And she's a businesswoman, and her company offers services to businesses like to do like their back end work. And so she's trying to get another client because she wants to make partner. And so she ends up going to James's property. He lives in London, but the property is in Scotland, which is where him and his family's from. And so that's how she ends up there. She's from New York, by the way, but she travels everywhere. I can't believe I didn't read it sooner. It's just so good. It's a tried and true romance, but you guys, it is so, so good. And one thing I'll just say about this book that I love just overall is the ending. It is just, it wraps up so good. And it's different, okay? The ending is different than some of the other romance books that I read, but the way they did it, I just love it. It's so good. And this is book 1 in a series as well, and that is the McDonald Family Trilogy. So yes, this is another recommendation for fall. Again, another 5-star. Okay, next I have The Librarian of Boons Hollow. Now this is like polar opposites of romance from 5 Days in Sky to this. They're both, like, this is advertised as Christian fiction romance, but it was really heavy. I mean, I'm sorry, but it was really light on the romance. Like, you get no like lip to lip kiss at all. I think there's maybe like a forehead kiss or something, I don't know. But so the romance, as far as that is concerned, is like night and day with these two books. But you guys, again, this was another 5-star read for me. Now this book does take you through the different seasons, which it ends up in Christmas. And so again, I think this book is just really good for fall. It takes place in a mountain town. Another reason why I'm suggesting this is because there is a character in this book, Nanny Faye, and she lives in the ultimate rustic cabin. Now this is back in the 1930s, and so the way they describe her cabin is so cozy. I mean, it's just gives me all the fall cozy vibes. And she also does like apothecary, and I don't know, I just think about all of that like as being cozy and just like, I don't know, kind of like gives me fall vibes in a way. But again, this is so good. So basically it follows 4 different perspectives. In the beginning, you just get Addie and Emmett's point of view. They're both college students at the University of Kentucky, and Emmett is graduating, but he's from the Holler, okay, up in Kentucky, and she is a junior going in to be a senior, but something happens and now she's got to get a job. Once she gets up there to Boons Hollow, she's not really accepted in this community, but she sticks it out, and so she's tough. Even though she's like super sweet, she's really tough. People are just not treating her well at all throughout this book, but it does get better. But then you have 2 other characters come in, Nanny Faye and Bettina, and actually those 2 were my favorite characters, which is why I can't wait to read the second book in this series, Return to Boons Hollow, because I believe that book is going to be about Bettina. But yes, Nanny Faye and Bettina were 2 of my favorite characters in the story. It's just so good, you guys. But I think if this is on your TBR, which I don't see a lot of people talk about this book, but it's so good. I mean, it's 5 stars from me and from several other people that have read it. But if it's on your TBR, go ahead and think about reading it for fall, because I think it's a great time to read it. And lastly, you guys, I still think about this book. Like, I cannot, this book is still on my mind, and that is My Stubborn Heart by Becky Wade. This is probably, the number 2 book as far as what you'd read for fall. This would be like my number 2 recommendation because the book starts off, it's like in September. So it goes through September, October, November, and then December. And so at least, well, you'll see what I mean by that if you read the book. But oh my gosh, you guys, you talk about a romance book that is just, it's heavy. There's heavy topics. There's spiritual battles. There's personal battles. This book had my emotions like this on a roller coaster ride. It really tore me up in some parts. It was tough, but it's just so, so good. The fact that I'm still thinking about it, I think that like says everything. So this book follows Kate and Matt. So Kate Donovan and Matt. So Matt is a former hockey player, now turned into a construction owner. He does construction now. He in the past redid his house, and now he's like branched out. He had a tragedy in his life, and so he just quit everything basically in his past life, and he moved. His past is just crazy. Then you have Kate. She's a single woman. She's like 30 or 31, and you know, she wants to be married and have a family. She lives in Dallas, Texas, and she is a social worker, but she's taking a break because something had happened and she just needed some time away. So she's going with her grandmother to fix up a house that has been in their family for generations and generations, but nobody has fixed it up. So now her and her grandma are going up to this town in, I believe it's in Pennsylvania, which is where Matt lives, and he's going to be the contractor on their house. So that's how they met. And immediately she sees something is wrong with this guy because of the line of work she's in. She can pick up on things. She's very sensitive to things. And so she wants to fix him. She wants to help him. In the process, she falls for him, but he has walls up, and it's just, there's certain parts that are just gut-wrenching. Now, one thing that I wish Matt had more dialogue. So I buddy read this with Amanda. Okay, you guys all know her. And we had a lot to say about this book. But one thing I brought up was I wish we got a little bit more dialogue from Matt. But there's a reason why he doesn't, but I just wish we got more from that, because in the beginning, she cannot get him to hardly say anything. And I'm like, come on, like, just come on, Matt, open up. It's just like this whole thing, but it's so emotional. But you guys, this is perfect to read in fall. Again, the whole atmosphere of the book, it's actually taking place in the fall time. It's getting chilly outside. The leaves are changing. And there's just so much more to this book. You've got a side romance with an older couple. You've got her grandma and her friends intertwined in the story. It's just got it all. It's so good. Another 5-star read for sure. So again, if this is on your TBR, go ahead and read it for fall. You won't be disappointed. All right, guys, so that's going to wrap it up, okay? Those are my top 5 romance book recommendations for fall time. I hope you enjoyed it. You guys, this was a lot of fun. I hope you all are doing well. And yeah, until next time, take care, guys.